Spoken label.
He lurked in the shadows, waiting and hoping she wouldn't take a different route. This was her usual room. He knew that. He knew her.
Ghost of Me, the new book by Amanda Steele, can be found at Amazon, Kobo, Waterstones, and many, many other places. Hi guys, it's Andy N. Thanks today for downloading or streaming yet another episode of Spoken Label. As you may or may not be aware, Spoken Label was started in the beginning of 2006, and currently we have well over 150 sessions recorded since then. Although you can find it on various networks, the full archive is available for streaming and downloading at Spoken Label bandcamp.com. It is a free download or free stream in there, but obviously if you feel like chucking me a few pennies that way, it'd be eternally grateful to help me keep this podcast going and keep improving my equipment, etc. Enjoy. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.
Hi guys, Andy N, Spoken Label, back in the house again on Zoom tonight. Now this is going to be fun tonight because the young lady I've got on Zoom with me, she interviewed me last week, or it may not go out in concurrent terms, so I did Tahira and she interviewed me on her podcast herself, so we're going to do a swap tonight, so I can ask her all these hard, difficult questions that she did to me last week. So, do you want to introduce yourself to everybody first of all? Tell them who you are and where all your writing originally came from, what area you were brought up in, etc. And we'll start from there.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, as Andy said, I'm Tahira Rehman, and I'm a poet and a performer based in Leeds. I'm also an outreach support worker. I started writing poetry when I was 14, but never shared it until the end of 2018, when I started performing. And since then, I've done 2 books, and now I host a podcast as well.
Yeah. Now, what I'm interested in learning about is obviously it's always something interesting to learn when you're sharing your poetry for the first time. I think I was about the same age when I started. And it took me a good few years to have the courage to do it. And was it like that sort of thing for yourself then, was it? What made you want to start sharing it?
I think it was just before that. I was just busy with, school, and then, doing my A-levels, and then I worked for a year, then went to uni, and then worked. And it was just kind of like I never had time to actually think about any bigger ambitions, anything creative. I always wanted to publish a book, even since I was 16. I remember doing a draft, and then it was just like finding your place, really. It was just, and then I went through a tough experience in what year was it, about 4 or 5 years ago, and that's when I just felt really powerful and thought it's about time I did something for myself, something creative and something that's going to excite me.
No, I think that's the best way of looking. Everything comes at that right time in your life, doesn't it? So, what drew you then to go into open mic nights? You said you started at the end of 2018, didn't you?
Yes. Well, I was just kind of looking online to see ways of sharing poetry, and I never knew anyone. I didn't even know what spoken word was. I didn't even know this world existed. And then I just kind of searched local poetry events where I could kind of maybe go and see what other people are doing. And when I read on there that you can read a poem, I was like, oh my god, I'm not doing that. And it was Matt Abbott actually who was the first person that I kind of found online, and he was doing an event at 7 Arts. And then I asked if I could perform, and he said that's fine. And then I went on the open mic, and really shy on the first day when I did it, and that was the first instant, and he was my kind of first inspiration because he was just so active in what he was doing. And since then I just went to another one, then another one, and then another one.
It's like the bug bit you, didn't it, then? So I think when it grabs you, it doesn't stop. Yeah. Now it's like 12 years later, it's the same with me. It just doesn't stop. There's always places you want to go to and the people you want to meet, etc. So what was your first experience like? Did you find you got a stage and thinking, oh my goodness, what have I done here?
I was like an hour before, and took 2 friends with me, so they were really, really supportive, and I kind of did a bit of a practice with them. And I just had all these thoughts in my head thinking, I've been writing for so long, but I've never actually shared it publicly. What are people going to think? Are people going to like it? And I was really nervous, but I think when I got on stage, I just felt confident because I knew that my poem's in front of me, I'm going to read it. And then Matt Abbott's feedback was just kind of boosted me, because he was like, that's amazing. And, you know, he said some really kind words, which you don't know what to expect, do you? First time reading your poem in public.
No, you don't. It's the first time when you've done it. If it's a good experience, you'll want to do it again and again. I know when first time I did it, in a festival. Would you believe it was about 400 people? That was terrifying. But yeah, afterwards I got off stage and I thought, yeah, I've got to do this again. I kept doing it, building. A lot of then is when you get the first time out of the way, it's building your confidence up to keep wanting to do it again and again. And it's a habit you get into, really, isn't it? So, and I think you see at the moment you're doing the work you're doing, and I don't want to go into tons on this side, but you work when you're doing like working an outreach worker at the moment. You've got to be used to talking to people all the time, and I think it's not too dissimilar a skill, is it really? So, like you're just dressing more people, aren't you? So it's definitely good stuff. Now, obviously, not long after then, you've done your first book, didn't you? Mirage to Reality. So when did that come out? That book?
April 2019. So yeah, last year, like nearly a year ago, just above a year now.
Wow. Now, how long did it take to write that book then? Was it quite a quick book to write, was it?
It consists of poems that were written like 12, 13 years ago, and more recent ones, and just a mixture really of describing the whole journey. So that's what I like about it, that it's got poems in there from a long time, like 2007, 2008, 2009, 2011.
Wow.
Yeah.
The size of your archive then must have been absolutely crazy, trying to pick out all the pieces, trying to get it right for yourself, isn't it? Oh, grief. I can remember I did my first book. Mine was fairly straightforward. I knew what I wanted going all along. In your case, you must have had hundreds of poems to probably go through then, didn't you, back then?
Yeah, well, it's got 28 poems in it altogether, so I had to be kind of selective, because it's not just a book. It's basically ends with some inspirational quotes, and in between there's like sentences that carry the person through the journey. So it's like kind of like a mini translation of the poem, and then the journey of life when we're going on to the next poem and how people can resonate with it. So I didn't want to put too much poems in the book. So yeah, I
think sometimes that's what I've always noticed. Less is better sometimes anyway, because I've seen a number of people go along and bring out 200-page books of poetry for the first collection, and I'm thinking that's way too much. Yeah, if you do if you space out like you have done, where you've done it, it'd be a better book for people to read, I think. Definitely that one. Yeah. So, did you bring the book out self-published, or was it through a publisher, that one?
I did it through self-publishing because I didn't want anything to change. I was quite stubborn, and I was just like, this is a really personal story, and I don't want anything, not even a word, to be changed. I need it to be my style and everything. And one of my great friends, she did the foreword because she knows me really well, and obviously she knows me throughout the poetry journey too, because she gave me some advice and she really kind of supported me as well. So it was only fair to have her to do the foreword. And I had a bit of a deadline, so believe it or not, I got the book done in 5 weeks.
Wow. That's some going, that one. Well done.
Just went after work to the library, did whatever I could, just stayed up at night, and just when you've got to get it done, you will get it done.
Yeah, I think I think some people always work better when they put themselves under pressure, don't they? So yeah, and that's clear. Yeah. Makes sense completely. So now, obviously, after that, then I know you've been busy, haven't you? So your second book's come out now as well, hasn't it? So was that? And tell us about your second book then, because that came out last year, wasn't it?
The second one came out literally this month.
Oh, was this month? I thought you back last year. Oh my good grief! So yes, basically you've done 2 in about a year, then, haven't you? Right? So,
yeah.
So tell us a bit more about the second book and how does it compare to the first book?
Yeah. So the second one's called Inspirational Quotes from the Journey of Reality. So it's like a continuation of the first book. So Mirages to Reality, and then when I boarded on Reality, that book was about compiling all the content that I had written, like posted on social media, made into little excerpts, quotes, just to demonstrate that these were my thoughts and experiences and philosophies when I was on the journey of reality, which is like the awakening, which is when you're developing yourself, you're happier, and then obviously to inspire others as well. And it came with the podcast because I thought if I'm going to do the podcast, it'd be good to kind of give people something for free as well, to inspire them. And during this time as well, that we're going through, I just thought it's a nice gesture.
Yeah, I think so. We are with podcasts, and the way it is at the minute, so obviously lockdown on. It's a good way of communication, isn't it? So, no, I agree.
Yeah.
That's why I love doing them at the moment. People need to be heard. So, so how many episodes have you done of your podcast so far? And I know my episode's pending, should we say, and that this one will be. So how did you find the people you want to speak to then? Did you just put adverts around you, or do you have people you wanted to speak to?
It's funny because when I started the podcast, I wasn't going to do any interviews because I just thought, you know, it's going to be like when I go to an event and perform, this will be an audio version of it. So if somebody can't come and see me perform, then people can kind of turn to the podcast. It's like a remote way of doing it.
Oh, yeah.
And I was interested in doing the interviews, but then I was thinking to myself, I've got a lot on, and how am I going to fit this into my schedule? I need to be realistic. I don't want to start it and then regret, and I want to put my all in it. And then it's funny because the people that I wanted to approach, and I've still got that list, to, you know, be interviewed, they're just at the back, and I don't know when I'm going to get around to them, because just sharing it on Facebook and groups, I didn't even have to run any ads or anything. People just kind of came forward, and they were just so eager to share it, inspirational, because it was about inviting people to share an inspirational story.
Yeah,
and
story of the life, basically.
Yeah, and I thought it was amazing because people have got so much inspiration to share, so many different stories, and I thought, this is brilliant. Now, obviously I have my own episodes, so I don't do an interview episode every week. I'll do a few interview-free ones. It'll be like a sequence of one of my poems, or like an article that I've written. I'll read it out and just elaborate on it. So yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea. The way you've got it planned there, like it's varying all the time. It's a reflection of you as a personality. Like in my case, I do 4 different podcasts. So it's like, in my case, I just do all kinds of things, and people know what I'm like when I'm catastrophic in nature. So no, when I get completely good stuff of it, certainly. So obviously, like the last you were talking about off mic to me before as well. You mentioned before about you were going to do a show, weren't you? And obviously, with lockdown now on, that's obviously caused a havoc, really, hasn't it, for you?
Yeah.
Now, tell us about what the plans of the show was, and we can see how you obviously to judge what's going to happen next at the moment with it.
The show is going to be like an extended version of like when I'm doing a longer set. So like if I'm headlining, I'll have like a 30-minute set or a 15-minute set. The show was going to be an extended version of Mirages to Reality. So it's like a sequence of, at the minute, it's like 13 to 14 poems. And it was going to be like a full show with the Bradford Fringe, or even independently. That was going to probably think, okay, realistically, I'll do that the year after. Just to kind of like a full performance, really, of the book, taking them through the sequence. And yeah, it was the book, really.
Oh, cool. Obviously, like I said, at the moment, it's a bit up in the air when it's going to happen, obviously, but you know yourself it will happen at some point, won't it? So, and is there anything else you've got planned for the future at the moment, lockdown permitting?
Yeah, it was just to continue, really, and I do want to get to the Edinburgh Fringe, and what else is it now? The Poetry Fest. I forgot the Verve Poetry Festival.
Yeah, someone mentioned that to me as well. So yeah, I've heard of the festival myself. That one, so excellent. So you've got plenty planned there, haven't you? So, and do you think you'll get a third book out then next year or two then as well? Or you're not sure yet? Not yet.
Well, there's a certain someone who she's the one who kind of it's someone I hadn't even met, and she lives in Keighley, and she's a really big fan of my quotes that I post on social media, and she's the one who actually kind of motivated me to do the second book, because obviously the podcast, I was planning it in January anyway, so that wasn't really anything sudden or new, but she was just like, when are you going to do this? She's been asking me since the first one, so that was good, whereas I was thinking, again, I want to be realistic, I don't want to do too much and then find that I'm not giving enough time to one side of things and then just doing too much. But yeah, it's in terms of the third one, it's probably going to be again like getting all the old poems together and making them into a sequence. So that won't be new poems. It'll be because I've still got loads on my USB and they're just sat there doing nothing.
No, it's good. Listen, my philosophy: the pieces are good enough, you get them out there. So, do you find that are you writing quite prolifically then, or is it? Do you have spells you write loads? Is it all?
I just kind of, sometimes if I've had like an experience or something, I'll just get my phone and write the poem. Like I wrote when I was on holiday in December, I wrote one then, and I think about 3-4 more pieces after that. Yeah, so it's not really planned. It's just to get something off my chest and just get the emotion out, really.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I find it amazing because Amanda, my other half, she only writes her poems on the phone. She doesn't try. She's not like me because I'm a scribbler on notepads. And I've got tons of notepads all over the place, half scribbles and. Well, it's probably because I'm old-fashioned that way, but no, it's great when you're watching that. You're doing like typing up, can't you? Then you get onto your laptop, and it's that way, certainly. So, no, so I get you. But you get spasms, isn't it? So, okay.
Yeah.
If people want to find out more about you, where are they best going?
On my website, really, it's got everything on there. So www.tahirarehman.com, and then it's got all the different pages of the social media platforms, and then the podcast, which they can subscribe and download on 9 different apps. So the website is the best one.
Yeah, it's great when you do it, like, because obviously I know you do it on Anchor like I do, and Anchor links up to so many websites, doesn't it? So yeah, I know I found that when I'm going to myself, like it's, and what you get a surprise of Anchor is sometimes it ends up going onto other websites as well you don't know about. Because I found one the other day and I thought I'd tell Amanda about that. I said, I didn't even know that website existed. It's worth keeping your eyes on it sometimes. It pops up, you least expect it. Because I think I've got Spoken Label now on 13 different servers by websites now, would you believe? So it's just where it goes. So, okay, that's all my questions. Shall we take a quick break and let you get your poems ready and then come right back then, Jane? Is that okay?
Yeah. How many poems do I need? Because I've got them in front of me.
4 or 5?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I know them by heart, but obviously I've got my book here as well, just in case I forget, because obviously I've not been performing. So
I know we're all a bit out of touch at the minute because I say we're good. Nothing to hide that myself. Like you think we've all been locked down for over a month, haven't we? Down here, pushing a month.
Yeah.
I'm doing all my stuff on Zoom, and it's just a different atmosphere. Reading poetry on Zoom, there's no audience because we're all like you're happy looking at people in the face, won't you? Doing it public.
Yeah.
So anyway. Let's get this paused, okay? Hang around, everybody. Hi, guys. Still here with Tahira. So, straight over to you. You're going to do 4 or 5 poems for us. I'm looking forward to hearing these. Over to you, my friend.
Okay, thank you. So, the first poem is called Mirage, and it's the opening poem of my book, Mirages to Reality. Chasing the mirage like a fool, but it's too cool for my hands to stay away. It's too sweet, almost like a treat, once in a while. But when the sun goes down, there is only darkness, darker than my eyes when they are closed, darker than a secret that is not exposed. I taste the sweetness of the past, except, is it real? Will I fail again to see the reality? I taste the bitterness of the past, how surreal. Am I entering into insanity? Am I naive for taking you to the heights I do? Without closing my eyes, I dream about you. I dream of greenery, reaching the stars. I dream of it coming true. No more broken memories. No, more scars. But the lessons I thought I learned have become like the full moon that comes out once or twice and disappears by the end of the night. The mind is like cross pathways, giving way to every thought, yet it collides together like never-ending congestion. There are no empty spaces in between or ends to the road, just continuous rocky hills that never seem to end. And here I am, standing in the waterless desert, right in the middle, without you.
Brilliant. Great style, that. Yeah, you can definitely feel that one there. That's the beginning poem there, very collection, that one. So, yeah, good way to start any collection off that straight away. Good stuff. Okay, do you want to jump straight into number 2?
Yep, so the second one that I've chosen for this set is called Escape. I want to escape, sedate, sleep the pain away. I want to numb my feelings so long as I don't feel this way. I want my eyes to close. I want to lose my senses and forget I remembered every single time I thought I was close to home. I want my dreams to take me closer to that place. I want no one to wake me and show me my real fate. I want no one to blame me when I cry and give up. I want no one to make me feel guilty when I lose and cannot stand back up. I don't want their understandings. I want to create my own makings. I don't need their disappointments when I fall again to the bottom. I don't want to be reminded of what turned out to be. I just want the time to be rewinded so I could see the reality early. Early enough for me to save my emotions, early enough for me to hold my tears, early enough for me to avoid false hope as I loosened the ends of my own rope, that I was climbing to a dead end, a sad end that I can't even mend. I want to sleep it away in my deep sleep. I want the night to pass slowly so that when I wake up, some of it is left inside me, not to feel but to numb the pain, to save me from going insane.
Right. No. Yeah, you see what you get. See there straight away. That's it. Is that one of your earlier pieces in that book, was it? Or was it? It's about midway, isn't it? So, yeah.
Yeah.
What I like with
About
that is you can see that's just almost like a scene setter based to what you want, where the journey goes from. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3.
Yep. So the third one is called Sit With Me. And this is what I believe as humans, when we're going through a tough time, we tend to need this, so someone just to listen to us, and it's called Sit With Me. In the silence of the night, all I can do is fail to see beyond my clouded thoughts, and it seems so real. So sit with me for a moment, because the future seems pretense and nothing seems to make any sense. Sit with me, because my shadow doesn't disappear with the breaking of dawn. I see it in my visions, and it seems to appear in my dreams, and I'm torn even under the sunlight. Because the story of my eyes rests not in the day or in the night, so sit with me, as I yearn for my losses, as I lose in the chances of all my tosses, as I flip the coin again, awaiting the end to this toxic game. Sit with me, because I'm living double days and I'm sleeping double nights, and this sadness won't allow me to fight. Logic and reason won't help me see the season of the coming summers that you see for me. It won't take me to the end of the tunnel. It won't solve my problems. All I want to see is your ears, and I need you to understand my fears. Sit with me, even if you can see the light, even if everything seems bright, and you say my tears are a waste of time, but remember, they are mine, so sit with me in the dark.
That's really lovely, that one. It's got a real lyrical feel to that one there, actually. So, because I think the repetition really adds something to your piece there. So, it's a really good piece. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, and the fourth one is called Travelling Ice, and this was when I felt like God was working his miracles, and my tests were getting easier, but as long as the ice travelled, and you'll understand what that means in the poem. Cold as blue, bright as the day sky, it's you, but you're not mine. The force between us wanders to its own destination as the unknown to myself. Yet it can move like travelling ice. It can give away water too generously that it can suffocate, lose breath, lose life, breed pain, lose sight, never see the day, and awaken memories from poisonous traits except it's moving, slowly returning my senses for me to taste life again. The real side, not fantasy. Please keep moving, I beg. Do not freeze till you break, as the winters are cold enough. I need the spring. If not earlier, I need the season to change.
Really? Yeah, I know. Okay, you worked well towards the end of that one, certainly. So, I should have asked you before, actually. Do you find it quite easy to memorise your poems?
It takes if it's a new one, it'll take me about 2 or 3 days, but I'll have to kind of work at it. So I will be continuously. If I've got I know that I'm performing on a 15-minute set or a 20-minute set. That week I'll go over the set again to make sure that it's in the time frame, because I hate going over, so people will give me slots they know I never go over. Even though I've got the set 14 poems as a 30-minute, sometimes you get 15 or 20, so then I'll have to tweak it and think, okay, maybe I can get a poem that's not in the book to give it a bit of a different feel, then make sure I know it's on heart.
Yeah, completely. I know what you mean. I can't memorise stuff. I've got a really bad memory. Well, in my case, you always see me. I'm always stood there with my fire. I was in fire with a notebook normally. I know the rhythm, not always the structure of the words. So I get what you mean completely. Right, okay. So we were said you were going to do 5 originally. It's up to you. Do you want to do 6?
I think I've done 4. So
You've done 4, yeah.
I've done 4. And this one's the last one of the book, so it's kind of without this, you wouldn't be able to know the sequence. So
yeah, we'll call this the big conclusion then. Definitely, that's fine with me. Okay, go for it.
And it's a positive one as well. So poem number 5 is called Undefined Happiness, and it's the final poem of the book Mirages to Reality. The sun is shining. The summer wind is blowing. I don't call it to myself, but I travel towards its way. Its path is sweet like something I always try to catch, like loyalty against deceit. I tried to fight along the way, it never said no entry or that I was ever barred, and along the centuries the same calling lit a spark. But only those who continued to lit would find its everlasting sweetness. If only I'd ever sat down and enjoyed the true happiness. The oxygen from the trees travels through my lungs, the beautiful sounds of the birds travels through my ears, a language I want to speak so I can taste their serenity too. Now along the journey, along the paths that are now open, along the dreams that are no longer broken, along the words that have finally spoken, along the seeds that are no longer dying, and along the happiness that is alive, it travels inside me, and I finally say yes.
Oh, great stuff. Yeah, I can see what you're getting at now. That's a great way, like, it's the acceptance at the end of the journey, isn't it? The shit you realise that, I got a point where you've gone from point A to point Z at the end of the book, and the acceptance, I say, yes, yeah. You finally open your eyes up, aren't you, and realise, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, great way of finishing that. It's a good way of finishing the set. Thank you.
Yeah, and I was literally sat in my garden when I wrote that poem, and it was a sunny day, so worked out well.
That sounds great to me. So, well, that's it for Spoken Label. Thank you again for that. I've really enjoyed it. A great session, uplifting and inspiring, which is what you need in this time of situation we're through at the moment. So, hang around. I need a quick word off mic.
Yes.
This is brilliant today. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a joy.
That is Andy again, signing out. Thank you, guys. See you all soon.
Spoken Label. Thanks again for listening to another session of Spoken Label. Our full archive can be found over on Bandcamp at Spoken Label. That's one word. Spoken Label. Full stop. Bandcamp.com. And there is over 150 sessions there. So I'm sure that if you've enjoyed this session, there'll be something else there you can enjoy as well. Take care. Bye bye. Spoken Label.